Well, guys, it seems Tony the Tosspot Blair is back trying to involve himself in the next
pandemic.
This time he's at the Rhodes Summit, where in what will surprise none of you, he's pushing global pandemic treaties and wants taxpayers' money to do it. There he also talks about needing to make politicians think his plan is something good for the people and that people will actually want. Oh, and it naturally centres around mRNA technology, but I'm sure that shocks none of you. In fact, why hear it from me when you can hear it from the horse's mouth himself?
The only route I can see to put in place the measures of pandemic preparedness which we would all agree we require is to prove to the political class, first, that there is an immediate case for action and not just a contingent one. Second, that this action will be politically popular and beneficial. And third, that it will yield a health and therefore an economic gain, which if not immediate, will not seem impossibly distant either. This is what I would call the here and now argument for political leaders to act.
Yeah, the schemers need to prove to politicians that it won't be a bottomless money pit so they can convince them to sell out sovereignty to this group of scumbags who are partnered with the WHO, of course. Them proving anything though doesn't mean they'll actually use facts or science to do it. In fact, we've seen them make up the proof that they need to push agendas, so I expect no different here.
You know, we had to really move at the speed of science.
Me, I wouldn't trust this plan regardless, but having Tony Blair involved solidifies that beyond all doubt, much like having Bill Gates saying crap like this does.
You know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say will get attention this time.
Yeah, anything them two are involved in is not good for me in my bloody book. But did you hear in that clip him talking about this plan being politically popular or them making it so? This is something we can actually influence because politically popular means popular with the public. And I would say the best way to make this unpopular with them is to point out everything that it's about and of course that Tony Blair's involved. This I would think will turn people against it more than pointing out the dangers of global pandemic treaties or even Big Pharma. Tony Blair is hated on all sides of the spectrum and that ain't likely to bloody change. So we gotta use what we've got, or in this case the scumbags that we're actually up against. Anyway though, let's move on because we've got another clip to hear from this tosser.
From this summit, we should work out a process for pulling the plan together. We can then individually and collectively, and of course through the WHO, touch the various points of power within the global political system to show today's leaders that there is both the opportunity for a whole new era of disease treatment and prevention and on a timescale which should be visible and practically achievable even with a short-term political horizon. In a world marked at present by deep geopolitical division, it would show that global action remains open to us in healthcare as in climate change if we have the way and the will.
Oh, he wants to touch the points of power within the political system, does he? So essentially subverting democratic governments to further his agenda, or is that just the way it seems to me? Actually, where have we heard of people doing that sort of thing before?
What we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, so that we penetrate the cabinets. So I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, the more I hear about this plan, the less I like it, and hearing this certified tosspot talking about it really does make my skin crawl. Personally, I got no problem with better healthcare or medical science, or should I say at least I didn't. That was until people like this openly got involved and I witnessed the past few years. After that I remain sceptical of it all, but anything this prat's involved in I want no part of. I don't know about you lot.
Where